Housing in general is pretty difficult on the Central Coast, not just on Luis Obispo County, but Santa Barbara County, Monterey County, Santa Cruz County, all of those kind of desirable communities. There's just not enough to go around, particularly housing that people can afford. Because the market is really tight, people are often applying to different places and not getting calls back.
We're able to remind people what their legal position is in the situations that they face, and then help them navigate what kind of path they want to go down regarding their position. So if you have this and this right, and you have this and this problem, how do you want to address that? Do you want us to speak to your landlord? Do you want to speak to your landlord? If we speak to your landlord, it might cause this issue. If we speak to your landlord, it might actually alleviate this issue. So how do you want to go about it? We've seen this happen many times before. So just kind of informing people of the invisible framework that is the law, that you don't really understand until you're in it day in and day out and you've seen the issues show up before. So reminding people of what their rights are, or teaching them their rights for the first time, and helping them navigate the many issues that they come to us with.
So when I think about what we're doing that makes a difference in people's lives in this area, I think often one of the biggest differences is just someone who will listen to them and notice what's happening and let them know that it's actually not okay. I also notice that a lot of our clients are really unsure when it comes to issues like overtime pay, what the law actually is, and just having confirmation, yes, the law actually says that if you work over a certain number of hours, the pay will be more, can make a big difference.
So the current legal landscape in Oxnard and Ventura County as a whole is definitely harsh, I would say, for lower income tenants. All throughout Ventura County, we've seen it, where it is very difficult for those who do not have the means to pay for their rent, or they need subsidies from different programs to be able to navigate those systems. So finding the correct resource, finding the funding, finding what it is that they're seeking, whether that's legal assistance or social services, is very difficult. There is also an issue with having people who are housed currently stay housed, and that is going to impact their lives as well as the community as a whole. It does benefit both the individual and the community. If this person is to retain their subsidy, they will have to work with these housing authorities even after we leave. And finding a way for them to navigate the system in a manner which they understand is accommodating to them if they have a disability, or having them work in a good working environment between them and the housing authorities or whoever their landlord, manager, on-site manager is. Both parties have to understand their obligations and they both have to follow them. So in certain ways, in order to keep people housed, we have to educate people on their rights, but then also ensure that they're able to advocate for themselves even after we end our representation.
So Santa Maria is primarily a Hispanic community and a farm working community. We're surrounded by agriculture, but because of where we're located, we're within distance of vineyards, so that attracts a lot of wine tasting, and because we're close to some of the well-known beaches. So the hospitality and tourist industries are also very predominant in our area, as well as cement, housing, and construction sector. So those are some of the main focuses regarding employment and some of the types of clients that we get in the office. When the H-2A population started to increase back in 2015, we started to notice that we needed to shift gears. An H-2A employee, it's a foreign national hired by a U.S. employer to work in the United States within the agricultural industry for a temporary amount of time. It's usually a season or so. We started looking a little bit more and trying to decide what can we do. We started litigating, and unfortunately not a lot of H-2A workers want you to litigate their cases because they're afraid of being blacklisted and not coming back the next year, or they're afraid that their employer is going to fire them for seeking out assistance. So sometimes, even though we want to pursue litigation in these cases because they're really good cases, it's not always possible, and we just try to consistently ensure that they know their rights, they know who they can reach. We don't just provide CRLA contact information, we ensure that they also have information regarding other agencies that can also provide services depending on their needs. And I think that throughout the years has allowed that part of the population to know that we're here. And even if it's just sometimes to ask us one particular question and they don't want to either litigate or push it forward, but they just want to know, they still know that we're here. We're an agency that they can trust.